1 hour conversation with Yasuke. That's not
You don't
an
have to be
integrity at all.
Illuminati to gatekeep.
Okay,
But,
well, first of all, you do
no,
know
that-
when you tactically jump in to basically enable whatever QOP says. And then sometimes when QOP leaves, you even admit that you're kind of just doing it in jest and don't even really agree with them.
I mostly agree with him. Although I think he's a little bit. I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, or actually, I don't agree with a lot of stuff he says. Most of the stuff. But
So you wait, you
I'm not
think
pressed.
we didn't actually go to Antarctica and it was all a giant psyop in
I
a
don't know
studio?
about that. I don't know. Could be AI. Could be an AI video.
Okay, well, let me ask you
No,
a
but
question.
I think it's insane to
If
say I
it
have
was
no integrity because I don't understand streaming. Like based on the
no,
information I was
I won't
given,
say I didn't
you're
say
trying
you
to say,
didn't
"Oh,
have
you have no
any
integrity
integrity. I didn't
because
say
you
you
don't."
didn't have any
That's a
integrity.
ridiculous, egregious straw man.
No, it's
First
that
of all, I didn't.
you leaped to thinking I lied and trying to call me a gatekeeper. That's the lack of integrity.
I thought you gatekept something.
Right. So you were wrong, and then you made a
Yeah, I was
public
wrong.
claim
That
about
doesn't
it.
mean it's a lack of integrity.
Yes, it is. If I
No, it's
didn't
The lack
not.
of
gatekeep,
integrity would be saying it publicly. The
No, the lack of integrity
accusatory.
would be not admitting I'm wrong.
Well, that would be, yeah, a further more egregious lack of integrity. But how do you not just get like, you should say, yeah, you're right, actually, I should be more cautious before making accusations that serious about
I literally just
somebody
asked
else.
him. I just asked him. I said, "Oh, you don't have that debate?" And then Geo like freaked out, like I was calling him some Freemason or something.
no, dude, it's not.
I thought maybe you were just lazy and you
That's
didn't
not
want
what
to
you
go and
said. You
look or
said, "Oh,
something.
Gio, you've never gatekeep anything." Clearly, with the implication that he has, in
Mhm.
support of whatever QOP had
I
just
said,
said.
yeah. I said, well, what about this? Yeah.
Blah. You know what you were doing. You were implying that he was a gatekeeper.
Well, what about this? Yeah.
Blah. You know what you were doing. You were implying that he was a gatekeeper off the back of what QOP had just said. So, I mean, you know what?
By
I've already
asking
asked
him
like 8
about it.
times. It's obvious you're not going to do it. You're not going to be like, yeah, you're right. I should be more careful with accusations. And I do stand behind the wall of anonymity. To be fair, I just have pretty much what you're admitting is that you just like lack empathy.
That might be a step too
Which
far.
is why I mentioned sociopathy earlier.
He
That's what
admitted he
that
was
is.
wrong, and he can't control QOP. So I don't know what more he can do. He's
He's
not.
saying he doesn't care about how it affects people's real life. That's a lack of empathy.
No, I
by
just can't
definition.
control it. There's things I can't control. I'm not going to worry about it. Like all this
But
shit I can't
you're not
control,
just
like
not
the government
controlling it.
fucking.
You're
Like
feeding
I'm going to
into it.
control the Secret Service and prevent them from messing with you because you talked about flat Earth on the
No, of
internet.
course you can't. You can't control
I can't do
them.
shit. Yeah. So what do you want me to
Yeah.
worry about? And
All
by
right,
the
bro.
way, I knew Charlie Kirk was was controlled, and I called his shooting a month before it happened. I didn't even watch the movie where they predicted it, so I'm actually pretty good at this. Thank you.
Okay,
After all that, how do you guys think you did?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You're not gonna get through to him, bro. Just give it up.
No, I'm just
Guy's a
correct.
troll. Period.
Yeah, well, the difference
I'm
is
being
like
attacked.
I think he knows that he trolls sometimes, but like I don't put him in the same basket as QOP. It's disheartening because like Blob is actually like intelligent. If you've ever actually heard him get into the conversations about health, for example, right? The guy clearly has like a lot of retainment capability,
I'm the most
right?
genius person on the earth when it comes to that. Literally.
Very humble.
Hey,
He's very humble.
maybe you could say that the psychedelics rotted QOP's brain.
That's a gross misunderstanding of what psychedelics are and how they work, and it's definitely deluded to think you're the most whatever in the whole world.
You don't think that would contribute to it a little bit? Why do you think QOP's so crazy?
Dude, he said he's only done DMT a few times, and it was like 10 or 15 years ago.
No, he's done it a lot of times.
I'm pretty. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure he said he's only done it a few times, and it was like 10 or 15 years ago. But
no, he's done it. He's done it more recently than that.
Well, there are people that have done
times.
DMT. Yeah, there are people that have done DMT thousands of times, and they're some of the most grounded, intelligent, high integrity people. So
I don't think they're grounded.
I think
that's the issue.
He threw that bait out there, obviously, but Yeah, I mean, SC is right about one thing, right? Which is clear, like it's or I don't know what resolution I'm hoping to
Witsit, this
attain.
is probably the most exciting time he's ever had in his whole life. Triggering
No, it's
you and
not.
Geo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but SC,
I
what do
bet
you? What do
you
you
Witsit's not even triggered. Geo was triggered at QOP, and I was getting attacked for a
this is
reason.
your fame, bro. This is your moment of fame. This is it.
No,
That's all
it's
you got.
actually not. It's actually not. Essie, your
I
moment
don't
of
know.
fame is talking about missiles on this fucking live stream
It's,
every day.
that's all he does, man. Missiles.
SC, but what do you
I'm
what do you
calling you out.
suggest? What do you suggest we do though? Because as you know, we
If it
don't.
was me, Geo, I'd ban him right now. I would
Yeah,
ban this guy
you're hurt.
right now. Right now.
Yeah, you're hurt.
And QOP.
Q up, I got a soft spot for Q up, I gotta admit, But
Yeah, that's
but
so
this guy,
backwards. Like, okay, my vote's backwards of that. Like, I'm like Q up. If anyone's getting banned, Q up should. But like, I don't know. I typically lean way more with Geo in the direction of like not banning people because it just eliminates that whole narrative. And normally you can just handle people even without muting sometimes, and that's why QOP shifted his tactics to just like overtly talking through you repeatedly, so you have no choice.
no, you
So
know why I have a soft spot? Because I think Q up actually believes what he says, right? But this dude, it's an obvious troll.
Yeah, you really got a lot of stuff figured out, Essie.
I know. I
Yeah, I
think
got you figured out,
I
bro.
think
Yeah.
Blob thinks what he's saying. I think Blob thinks what he's saying. What do you think he doesn't think? I
Well,
think he believes what he's saying.
the thing with QOP, Blob comes in here and does like share his viewpoints and debates and brings points. QOP used to. I actually said this in text chat. I was like, I kind of miss the days when QOP used to come in and actually debate points. But now, pretty much every time he comes in, he interrupts, he causes chaos, he insults people, he comes up with random, like deceptive, slanderous things, and he's claiming he's doing videos that he's gonna do. So that's all he does these days. Like he doesn't come in any good faith ever anymore and actually has any discussions. That's the only reason like the discussion of banning is even like is partly on the table. It's just because it's like every single time. So I mean, how many warnings? I mean, he's already got 1,000,000 warnings. So another warning it'll be timed out for a week, another warning a week, and eventually it just gets longer and longer. But like every single time QOP comes in here, it's some kind of either insult or slander or just trash talking or just disruption. Like he gets muted, I think, every time he comes in here just for the disruptions, let alone all of the other attacks and things that he's doing. So it's just
Yeah, he
disruptive.
has been bad lately. That is the truth. Q up lately, you've been coming in like a jerk, bro. That's the
Well,
truth.
no, this is the thing. He's not in here because as soon as he's not capable of doing that anymore, he leaves. That's actually his sole purpose of being here. But I mean, I will say he seems to be putting all of his attention and effort into the whole like expose the gatekeepers narrative. And so like what he wants to do is like say certain things to get you on the record saying something, and he's gonna pull it out and be like, see, this means this. And then it'll put it in his list of other narratives or whatever. So like that's really his only objective of being in here. And the idea that if he gets you triggered or spiral, like the stuff the guy was like celebrating as if some huge deal he got me to say was like the goofiest stuff ever, bro. So I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, you guys know my vote. Like, I think I've had mod on here for a very long time. If you go check the logs and see how many times I've even muted people, much less kicked anyone or anything like that, it's like basically nothing. So, I mean, you guys obviously know where I stand on that, right? Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I think you can handle most of it even without the mute. Sometimes people just make it where you have to like temporarily mute them, but I do think that you could imagine if you didn't have any standard of stopping people from jumping in and just like acting insane or like screaming through people or just being here to disrupt no matter what's going on. If you didn't have any standard of stopping that, then this place couldn't even exist. So obviously, there's got to be some standard, realistically. Because I mean, even Brenda got banned at one point, I think, right? Because that's what Brenda would do, like intentionally come in here and just destroy anything valuable that was going on. There's got to be like obviously some enforcement of that. Duh, this place couldn't exist. So
Okay, so maybe the solution is to ban Geo, ban Austin, and then they can't troll you.
Make Blob a mod and make Q up a mod.
Q up admin. Yeah.
outside the box.
Yeah.
That might work.
Then they can't troll us. Is that what you said?
And then finally, we can make this a Dragon Earth server the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
Look, as long as you understand that a troll's main objective is to get you off tilt. That's what this
Yeah.
guy wants.
SE, please
That's what
stop.
Blob. That's what he does. Like every time I talk, I see you talking about
But you
missiles.
keep singling out
He
Blob.
wants to
like,
get you off tilt.
It's
yeah,
because I
Blob
call
does do
SE
it.
out
There's
like
certain,
every day. I call it
there's certain
SE
people
because
that Blob don't like SE. He's got beef with you, obviously, so he does do that to you. But the thing is, like, QOP does it 10x. It's goofy that you would single him out over QOP, in my opinion, I guess. Whatever.
I don't even
Oh yeah, he
dislike
definitely has it
SE.
in for you.
Hey,
Yeah. And now
SE, I don't
Geo
even
do it to
dislike you. I just roast you because all you talk about is missiles 24/7. You just come in here and bring up
Bro, your
missiles
game ain't
literally
gonna
every
work. You're
time.
a troll, bro. Forget about it. It
Dude,
ain't
I
gonna
joined
work
this
on me.
morning. You were posting something about Russia testing missiles.
The torpedoes.
You're irrelevant to me, bro. I told you, if this was my
See,
server,
you're
you'd be gone
They
right
don't
you're
now.
take
No
the
one
offended.
bait. You just told us not
puts
to
up
take
with
the
you. I don't
bait.
know why Geo puts up with you.
You told us not to take the bait, and you're taking the bait, bro. Look, here's the thing, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree with you, but this is the issue, right? Like, you can deal with a troll by just not getting triggered, as long as they also let you speak, right? Like, if the troll like censors you by like incessantly interrupting, and that's their only way to try to trigger you, well, then it's just like he's
I'm telling
cheating.
you, Witsit,
Like,
this is
if you're
his
gonna be a troll, be
greatest
skilled
Discord
at it.
moment. What he did tonight with you and Geo, this is his greatest claim to fame.
No, it was the debate with Yasuke that fucking got deleted.
Yeah.
Or got, the stream cracked.
Dude, that was not intentionally deleted. That's just the fact.
All right, I believe you.
Why didn't you? If it was that special, when you found it was still there, why didn't you rip it?
I was going to, but I guess it was only on the Twitch thing for like a week or something, and I didn't even check that until like way late. I don't know. I just thought it was going to be there longer, so I just didn't record it before it was taken off. But yeah.
No, but Witsit, what you said is what
Yeah.
QOP's doing. Like, this is the second time now he's come in about the other thing, claiming that there was some secretive conversation on Ether Cosmology where we were gatekeeping, which is a lie. Whatever we were talking about would have just been normal stuff that we always talk about. So he's done that twice. And the thing is, he has come in, he tries confronting me and trying to get me to discuss it. And then he basically makes things up about it, like trying to say that we were, trying to hide things about how we're going to lie to people that TFE is real. And then he gets me having to like clear the record. I understand like the shoes you're in sometimes when you have to do this stuff. He gets me having to like discuss it. Plus, I don't like remember exactly what was discussed. You know what I mean? Like if it was a long time ago and whatever, we were just shooting the shit about stuff, and
Yeah,
then
it sucks, right? It sucks, right?
yeah, it does suck. And then as I'm trying to clarify, he then interrupts and makes all kinds of like loud laughing and stuff. So the only way I can clear the record is then to mute him, and then he leaves, and then he thinks. So I mean, that's why
They
it's
won.
just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. Like he's trying. Like imagine, yeah. Like if you came in on him and you're like, "Hey, do you remember on December 7th at 11:27, someone said this to you, and then you said this. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?" And you're like, "What?" And you're like trying to remember, and then as you start to talk through it, he just incessantly giggling. I gotcha. Got it. You'd be like, dude. I mean, it's like the goofiest, gayest. I mean, it's just like super immature. So like. Yeah, I mean, you get it. It's not even worth really giving attention to be honest. If someone hears like some Q-op conspiracy about you and then just like really believes it, that's on them. That's why I have more beef with Blob because Blob comes across much more reasonable and level-headed, and then he speaks with like this ostensible authority as though he's vetted out Q-op's claims and they check out. And that's why it's like, okay, you're totally life jacketing this guy over and over and over. When I know for a fact that you see that the way he acts is just unacceptable. I know that for a fact. I know for a fact
don't.
that. So you don't think that when you accuse someone of something, they go to respond to you and they're like, like right to the middle. You don't think that's unacceptable behavior as an adult?
I mean, you're talking about that was like a week ago or something when that happened?
Oh no, he does it almost every time I talk to him now. He's not actually even trying to hear the answer. He's like, he just needs to hear the first two words of what you say. It doesn't matter. I
Looks
will
like,
say this: is just really time consuming and lame to like in general. So
looks like Blob has learned. Tell QOP that there's not going to be a double standard in moderation. If this was a Glober, they would have been gone a month ago, and maybe QOP will learn that he not to do that in here, or else he's going to get banned. So
Glover's
oh,
trolled the
true.
VC for like 10 hours straight. Like PhD
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah, and like a lot of Glovers in here do that. What are you talking about? Like, if anything, Glovers have like more leniency at times because we just expect the poor behavior from some of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, but-
hey, you know what I'm gonna remember from tonight's conversation? I'm gonna remember this. When Geo said, "If it wasn't for me, Blob, nobody would know you." That
Yeah,
was
nobody
fucking
in
Now
funny as
Earth
hell.
you're being
Awakenings.
taken.
No, nobody in Earth Awakenings would know me if Earth Awakenings didn't exist. That's a great point.
No, in this community.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, in the truth community. Who would know you other than
The
being
truth community, Earth Awakenings is the truth community. Really?
of the only place you've been that you've ever been? That
You
I've
think
known.
this is the only place I go? You think people don't know me all over the primal community? You think I'm not known? Yeah, like you know what I'm up to.
I don't know. Do you hide behind a fake name everywhere?
I didn't say
Maybe.
no one would know you anywhere on the internet. I said in terms of this community, the
The
community.
truth community, right? Which flat Earth is lower than the people exposing germ theory and big pharma and all that stuff. Flat Earth is way lower.
Well,
So-
that's a cool claim.
All right. So, what server or channel can you send me to that has a bunch of people that
You know
that
what?
would
I
would
got
know?
a couple, but the best one I can't even invite anyone to it because it's only people from a secret
Society.
well, whatever.
Got
Yes,
him.
we're Masons.
So you
Got
can't
him.
share where you're publicly known other than here.
Imagine if one of us had said
No, I
that
could.
and then QOP got a hold of it. I can't. Well, I could tell you. I can't tell you because it's a secret. You know. Oh my
That's
god! It'd
true.
been over these 27 videos made about it by morning.
I mean, I have a video that someone clipped talking about, health stuff. That's not even on my channel. That has like 3,000 views or something. Yeah, there's people that know me. Flat Earth isn't that important, guys.
Bingo.
Anyway.
What, being lied to
I
about the
literally do
nature
more
of
than
Earth
everyone in
isn't
this
important?
VC combined. I literally do more than all of you combined. So,
Okay.
hold
It's a
the
cool
L.
story. Cool story, bro.
Did you try the lubrication formula?
Well, it's just a
Okay,
pretty
you had your
interesting-
5 minutes of fame.
Oh,
Crawl away, bro. Crawl away.
Yeah. You're actually triggered, SE.
I think we place
You're actually
importance
hurt
on
because I
different
accurately
things, bro.
roast you.
No, I'm actually in a good mood and very happy.
Mm-hmm. You're just upset because I call you out because all you talk about is missiles.
That's all you have, man. Yeah, that's all you have.
That's all you have, bud.
Well, why are you being so antagonistic?
I don't know. People are trying to like attack me and say all this bullshit like they're so important. Really, they're not. I'm just some random guy on Discord. Yet I'm probably the only person in here who has people saying I saved their lives and thank you and saying all this shit. Like you guys are really doing something, huh? The only other person is Witsit, who actually does something. You guys don't do anything.
Do you want
How many lives have you saved?
More than you.
Yeah. Do you want a medal? Like some sort of recognition?
I don't know. Maybe if people
Well,
like
I want to know more about
appreciated
these
it and
lives
didn't
you've saved.
attack me
How did
over
you
some
save them?
bullshit, maybe that would be nice. People calling me out for saying I have no integrity and no one would know me, like they know what the fuck's going on in my life.
Wait,
Well,
let's just clarify.
I was
I didn't
just
say you had no
trying to get
integrity,
at
right?
that.
No, but what
Wait,
we
Blob,
say,
Blob,
what
to
we
clarify.
say
Blob,
about,
you don't know shit about me, and I'm in the voice chat, and you're
Oh,
saying
okay.
you do more than anybody in
Blob,
this
Blob,
voice chat.
wait up.
I know
How
for
many-
a fact,
I didn't
bud.
say you
Yeah,
had
I
no
know you are,
integrity.
Rob.
I said that you should
Oh.
show more
I
integrity
just think you should
specific
stop
to what we were
using
talking
such
about.
a
I'm
broad
standing behind
brush
that
on the room.
100%. Stand behind it 100%, and
Yeah,
I
you're
know
not
for
the
a
only
fact that you
superhero in
know.
this
Very
server. You're
antagonizing.
not the only superhero.
That's what you're looking for.
All right?
That's
I would
why
never
I
call
asked why
myself
you're
person
being
with the
so
superhero
antagonistic.
complex. I'm just better at it than everyone. Lol.
I would never call myself a superhero, nor to ever say that I'm like the number
You have
one
a
genius
superhero
on the earth.
complex.
Well,
No,
that's a
I'm
whole
only the
story.
number one genius with one topic.
You want to know what the major difference between me and you is? is like
Trolling.
what I would say I've done in terms of helping save people's lives is it isn't me that saves them. It's the creator. So the only benefit I feel that I've done in that sense is waking people up to the fact that there's a creator. And so,
I mean, all right,
whatever.
I
So we
get
can
that.
place our
That's
importance in
fine.
different places. I can understand why like when he's and whoever asked when he's saying he saved people's lives, it's like it is
Yeah,
obviously
I want to know
true that
how he saved
all
somebody's life. He says
well
he saved them.
he's exposing a lot of the deceptions within mainstream medicine and different like diets and food practices and stuff like
I think they're
that.
better than everyone.
It doesn't surprise me at all if he says it because like me telling people just certain like things that I've done, they've come back and said like they've had like major changes. Like restless leg syndrome, their whole life is gone, and you get crazy testimonies if you
So
are
why
helping
don't you
people
guys
out in that
share
world.
this with everybody?
He
Mm,
does.
This is like
He
life
says it.
saving.
He says it in here all the time.
no one appreciates it. Look at how I'm getting attacked. Even
Well,
though
that's
I literally
independent
give
of
the
how you
most.
handle other
No, it's not.
situations.
Why
So
don't you make
it
videos
is.
sharing all this information? Like if it
I got
saved
some
lives.
videos out there. I just said I have a video with like 3,000 views. And I did make a video about cancer. They fucking took it down. I can't talk because I'm too good at it.
Rumble would never take it down.
There's platforms that
That's
won't
true.
take it down.
That's true.
You could put your information out there if you wanted
Freemasons would pay me to take it down, and I would accept it. Just letting you guys
See,
know.
there's the lack of integrity.
No, it's not a lack of integrity.
That is a lack of integrity. Like, for example, I don't even say this stuff publicly normally, just like in certain circles, but I'll say one thing. Like, basically, I had a guy tell me that I for sure was like a shoe in to get my own show in like this conservative, like alternative conservative network. You guys have all heard of it. It's pretty big. And I'm like, dude, they'll pretty much let you talk about anything. You just gotta like put the whole FE thing on the back burner. Like, you don't have to say you don't believe in it. You don't have to disavow it, but like, you just can't like talk about that all the time. Like you have to talk about this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're talking. I mean, obviously, you get started at over $250,000 a year, plus you get they fund all your travel and all your content, whatever ideas you have, et cetera. Pay for all your gas, whatever gas you want, and then you
Yeah.
just build from there. And if you get a lot of people to watch your stuff, then you can do even more. And then the other people that have that opportunity on that network or those types of networks are like low key not even good. And
Yep.
so yeah, so I've had to turn down many things because of money. So I don't respect anyone saying they would do anything for money.
It's
Same thing
kind of
when Darren was asking me.
yeah, it's kind of different, but no, I wouldn't do that. I would just like if I made like a presentation, which I was trying to tell Riggs to fucking crowdfund to pay me so I could do a presentation, and then just have Freemasons pay him to take it down. But no, if Freemasons just were like, "Hey, I'll give you money to delete your stuff," I would just go, "All right, I'll just delete it and I'll take the money."
So you're
Yeah,
easily
I
bought.
don't know. I can't see that happening, but I think that's lame. That would by definition be a lack of integrity, bro.
No, I want the money.
Okay, everyone wants money. This is like when again Jaron was asking me, he was saying like everyone has their price realistically. He's like, I know that you're saying you don't because you have like Christian followers in your base and stuff, but realistically everyone has their price. And I'm like, no, no. Because like I know that there's a creator and it's way deeper than money. First of all, anyone came to me offering me a large sum of money to stop talking, it would just prove that whatever I'm talking about is correct, which would mean I have to get the word out there. And then two, it's like the spiritual realm is real. My soul is real. Why would you ever turn on that for something like money?
Yeah,
Like that's insane.
I don't think it's kind of like you do all this work to like make all this progress in this one topic, and then you just give it all out for free, and then the people that you're giving it to don't even appreciate it. And then some creep is like, "Hey, I'll just give you money to take it down." I'm like, you know what? Sure. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's.
But you do. Oh, well, look at that. You do feel the pain. Like you understand the frustration, then, right? If you put in all this work to get out all this information and you do it for
Of
free,
course. Yeah,
and the people don't even appreciate it. It's even worse than that. They
I've
then
literally
come
done that.
around
Yeah.
demanding that it's for free, saying that they're entitled to it being for free, and then if you do anything to try to get any money at all, then you're actually a Masonic shill.
Yeah, no one's
Okay,
paid me.
have you been paid before to take something down?
No. No one's even paid me on here, the people that I've helped. No one's paid me.
Why would they have to pay you? They just take it down.
No, I mean people that, like individuals that I help out. No one's
I'm
paid
saying
me.
like, what I'm
So
saying is
yeah,
why would anyone pay?
I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. No one appreciates what I do to the point where I'm getting attacked over some bullshit. No one's
Well,
paying
no, it's
me.
just like you. It just
No one know will know
you
who I
choose to
am.
take arrows for QOP. Like you choose to do that, and you know that you do
The
it.
shit I
And every
brought
time
up
Q,
was
you
completely
brought it up
separate
right
from what
after
QUP was
QOP,
saying.
but you brought it up right after he did it. So it's like you know, and that happens every time. Every time that QOP comes and does something, you jump in, and you know that the timing and the implications is that you are basically enabling what he said, or you're stamping it in some sort of way, and you know that you do that. Like, you know, I mean, we're not retarded. So it's whatever. I'm saying you're choosing to throw yourself. This is what I've tried to ask you. I'm like, why do you feel the need to throw yourself in the ring for that guy? I mean, you're clearly pretty loyal to him. Obviously, you have some type of soft spot for him. I can like respect loyalty or whatever, but it just doesn't seem like incredibly wise, you know, because I draw a distinction between you two, and like it just seems weird. It seems weird to
Well,
me,
yeah,
but I mean,
I don't
everyone's able to do their
like I don't agree with a lot of the stuff QUP says, but I'll hang out with him and a bunch of other people. And all of my friends, I don't like when people just are attacking them, straw manning them, just lying about what they're saying, misrepresenting. It's kind of not cool.
Well, that's all
basically
that
what
guy
Quap was doing to Geo, right?
and me.
No,
Yeah.
Geo was saying that there was a recording, and QUP was saying the whole time there wasn't a recording.
I maintain that QUP actually did say that there was a recording. I'm pretty sure he did say that.
Okay, well, he was saying there wasn't a recording. He said that multiple times.
A few days ago,
He said that
came in with that same narrative and said that Clearview recorded it. That's what he said.
He corrected himself after the fact that he lied in the first place. Like, for him to even say that there is a recording, and he's been contemplating this whole concept for days now, and he misspoke accidentally, saying that he's got a recording. I don't know what's going on through that guy, man. He can't articulate himself properly or something. It's just peculiar.
I mean, you guys do the same.
Well, sometimes people do that, right? Sometimes people, they think, oh, if I bluff that I have it recorded, then it'll get them to admit it. So I mean, like
the same thing happens to Wish. He gets muted and for literally no reason. Like he'll just be
that's
trolling.
not true though,
dude. Wish is sarcastic.
Okay, he'll
Wish
be
is
trolling,
a troll, bro.
right? Yeah, okay, he trolls, but so does PhD Tony and Omnivore and these people that talk for literally 10 hours straight. Wish does one thing and gets fucking muted.
He didn't say
and
one
I'm
thing.
like, hey, what the fuck, guys?
Dude,
well, I've had the Wish guys
so I have
back.
to have my friends' backs because you guys are just freaking out over nothing. All right.
No, what were you saying? What did he do? Because the guy said he said
He
one
came
thing.
in here talking about some experiment to prove flat Earth. We were talking about it for like 15 minutes, and then he brought up some random thing, and then people were like, "Oh, you never bring up anything productive," and they fucking muted him.
No, he said that we're not doing anything productive, and we've been here for 10 years or something, and nothing's happened. And he was using that as a experiment.
He brought up an experiment.
Is he like
that
got
would
you
prove
fooled or something? Has he got you fooled that he's like a nice guy, that he's like all authentic and well-meaning and intended? Is he fooling you?
Yeah,
maybe
I'm totally
not
getting
us?
psyoped. Totally getting psyoped.
You might be. You might be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the naive one here. Lol.
Yeah, he actually.
Well, you thought GeoW was doing something that he wasn't doing, so you are naive to certain things and you jump to conclusions without actually understanding how servers are maintained. So, I mean, that's a problem, man.
The Wish guy, all I've ever really heard the Wish guy view is troll, but then like he'll be like serious with me some. Like I've had like a serious conversations with him
Dude,
at
he's
times.
serious. Yeah, he says serious stuff all the time, and people literally just say, "Oh, you're never serious." But like, it's like, no, it's totally fine when people lie about the perceived trolls, like QOP and Wish, and me, I guess. It's totally fine when people just make shit up and lie and
Well,
misrepresent
Bob, that's not
things.
true
But
either.
when we
I've
do
He's
it,
just
corrected.
oh,
a
it's just
he's an
I've
annoying
corrected.
conversationalist, dude. It's like I'll attribute that to trolling a little bit, right? But he's just like really
Right.
annoying to have a conversation with. I don't like it's not enjoyable. And yeah,
Yeah,
if
but
you
we
keep
don't
interjecting
mute people
yourself
for that.
constantly, then yeah,
I
you're
don't,
gonna get muted
I don't
because
think
you
that's true.
constantly do it. Like we put it up with it a little bit, but if it's the thing that like he's trying to centralize his character and say that he's the main mod and everyone should listen to him, yeah, that's a problem.
Well, that
You
is the
want
thing, Block. Can you acknowledge that if someone just is blatantly disrespectful of like the basic flow of conversation, which is just clearly an embedded rule of maintaining any functional server, and they're intentionally disregarding any moderation attempts, and they're just blurting right through the middle with the intentions of trolling, like you obviously have to rein that in, right?
Mm, I don't think. I don't think you
Well,
need
this is
to
where
mute
you
them
can't
or
have
like.
a
Look,
good
the
server.
Glovers do the same thing where they're like
We
being
mod them.
dishonest, right? No. The thing is, they'll be dishonest. They don't get the point. They strawman things continually. It's like if they're just being stupid, we just like let it go, or like we think like, oh, maybe they're just dumb, right? We have to explain the same thing 50 times to them. People just let it go. But if someone's obviously trolling for 10 seconds, it's like, oh, that's too crazy. We got to mute that. That's just bad moderation. That's not.
No, you didn't really address my point. So, like, if a Glober comes in here, like with Tony, we gave Tony a little bit of room, especially when he was going back and forth with me, because, like, it's very obvious actually that when people are coming at me, they have way more rope. They get to interrupt me way more than anyone else typically.
Mhm.
And like I'm typically fine with it because I can kind of handle my own or whatever. Like when it came to Tony, we did that, right? But like he's valuable in the sense that he's got the credentials and the qualifications in terms of like what the mainstream considers credible, and then he is knowledgeable about a lot of the pseudoscience. So going back and forth with him and trying to bear with him and get him to stop being so unbearable is valuable in terms of like content, waking people up, covering like maybe more in depth physics or whatever. Knows more about their side than most people on their side. You obviously are smart enough to understand why we would be lenient in a situation like that, right? Because it ironically and unfortunately, I guess you could say, someone like PhD Tony is valuable, right? And like again, though, even Tony is being moderated pretty heavily when it comes to interruptions. Like we made it a whole point. So it's not what I'm saying is across the board, if you're just intentionally running through the middle of someone repeatedly, you get moderated. So if you're doing that strictly to troll, I mean, PhD Tony believes the stuff he's saying. You have to understand that we're going to mod it. My question is, you can obviously see you can't run any type of functional server at all if you don't do that.
The thing about PhD Tony, I don't think that guy's honest at all, because one time I joined in an argument to help him out, and I basically dunked on the guy for him, and then I like used the same point I used to dunk on this guy that he totally accepted and was cool with. And then I used the same point to argue against something that he thought, and he just completely spazzed out and freaked out on me and just wanted to argue. Like that guy just comes in here, he just
Yeah,
wants to
for
run
sure.
his mouth. He's not
For sure.
an honest guy.
For
So
sure,
he's
he's
dishonest. He's
intellectually
trolling.
dishonest. He's intellectually dishonest. He's not trolling. He's just like for him, the ends justify the means because he knows he's right. So no matter what way he gets to the end, it's justified because he knows he's right. Like in my opinion, he believes that. I mean, but
I
you
think it's
get my bigger
yeah.
point that like he is somewhat valuable. Like for example, when we're going all the way into the depth of like Stephen Hawking, the beginning of time, and how he conceptualized he was orthogonal to the dimension, to the 4D dimension that we now know, and that basically imaginary time that is finite but has no beginning or end. Was the save of the not needing some type of causal agent for the beginning of the universe. Like you can't have that conversation with just anyone. But what came of that is like anyone that heard it in the server or on the playback, or if it gets clipped and uploaded to my channel or anything, they get to learn that in a very expedited way. And there's not very many people on that side that can do that or that come in here to do that. You do understand that that is valuable in that sense. It is obvious that that is why a lot of people in this server, including Geo and myself, etc., have tried to be somewhat lenient with Tony. We know that he does provide value in that sense.
Yep. I can see that.
You know that's true, right?
I don't really agree. I think if Tony was banned, it would just be better because literally anyone else who can fill that role would be better. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, find them because I don't disagree with that point. But usually, if they are better, they quickly are also smart enough to realize they should just get out. It's a lose-lose for them.
It's almost like bullying or something. It's kind of like, well, anyway.
Like if they debunk us and dunk all over us, it's like, what are they going to go and brag to their colleagues that they dunked on some flat earthers in Discord? No one cares. If they come to my server or on my stream, same thing, right? If they beat me in a debate, quote unquote, no one cares. It's expected. If they lose in here or on my stream, it's catastrophic in their worldview, like, or in their mind, right, and in their image. So it's literally a lose-lose. This is why it's so difficult to get the PhDs to engage on the record. Off the record, they're like super eager to do it though. And I have many conversations off the record because not many people in real life care to talk about like this, like super in the weeds, like kind of nerdy stuff. They want to talk about it, they love to talk about it, but just off the record, right? Because
you gotta
like,
ambush them. You gotta record them in public without them knowing.
I guess, but it doesn't work out the best. You're just gonna run away. But anyway, I am trying to work on a way to fix that problem though, and I'm hoping that money will solve the problem. So we'll see.
Yeah, I heard that. You were talking about having a debate platform thing.
Yeah, where everyone gets paid.
Yeah.
Would you do that though? The thing is that everyone has to be on camera.
Depends on how much I would get paid and who I'm debating and on what.
Yeah, I mean, certainly starting off, the payment structure is going to be based on what the stream itself generates, right? So like whatever people donate to ask questions or donate to support it or whatever, like each debate would be announced in advance, and then there would be a place that you could donate, a link you could donate, and knowing that that money goes to the two debaters and the moderator, then the super chats also get split amongst them. There's no way I can come out of pocket and just pay like a good amount of money to everybody. If the show started actually making money, maybe.
Yeah, I'm uneducated though. Like I don't have a PhD. I could dunk on all the
Doesn't
PhD.
matter.
Okay.
Well, the whole reason I'm creating it is to get the people that are dissident, have dissident views, and don't have credentials to sit down with the people that do have their credentials, like Taylor, who actually is going to end up having the credentials, ironically, right? But debating some PhD about origin of life. My point is, if you are a dissident, you're not able to get like the best argumentation that's dissident of the mainstream and credentials, typically, obviously, right? When people get the credentials, they just represent that mainstream view. So, I mean, that's the objective, and the only way you're going to get that to happen is if you pay them. If you pay them, then maybe they'll do it.
I don't know if the debates that I would have is probably, I don't know if they would be able to do that.
Let's do it, Blob. You and me.
No, I need someone way smarter. I need
I'd be curious, Witsit. Like, would it be like $1,000 that you'd be trying to get them to engage with, or you reckon it won't take that much?
I wouldn't put any limit on it though. Like, I mean, if enough people wanted to watch it, do you see my point? Is like if enough people wanted to watch it, it could, 10,000 could be donated, whatever they get paid.
Yeah, well, I kind of imagine that it's sort of like you're the venue and they're the DJs, and they've almost got to drum up as much as tension as possible on their end. But the trick is, though, that anyone with a PhD You're talking about their career prospects and into the future and stuff. For $1,000, would they jump
Well,
online and sort of?
it depends on what
Yeah,
they
that's the
do.
issue.
Like for professors, probably right. Like in my opinion, like professors don't get paid much, or like if whatever they're getting paid isn't that lucrative, you'd be surprised, right? Because I've shopped around with like $300 speaking gigs plus permission commission, and most people agree to it. And then like obviously the the business plan is pretty bulletproof because like if you offer them a base speaking fee, even if it's like say a percentage of whatever's raised or whatever, but guaranteed at least this much, and a percentage of any tickets. So if you were to do in-person events, they would be incentivized to get as many people to come and or get the pay-per-view ticket online as possible because they're getting a cut. So then that actually gets both sides to promote it to their audiences, right? And then you take the PPV uh, and you throw it, you take it off the paywall after like a week. So this way, you're able to actually get the coveted debates out to the world that would never otherwise happen. There will for sure be the people that are like, "Oh, look at Witsit! Oh, he's gatekeeping! Oh, the debates are getting." But it's like if you would actually use your brain, you'd realize that the alternative is just that they would never happen, right? So it's me trying to make the debates that would never happen. And so, yes, a lot of them. Now, I wanted to be like, most of these debates are just going to be live. Everyone can watch for free, and they get paid based off whatever's donated to like the little bucket before the stream, and then whatever's super chatted. And I want to pay the moderators too. So and then the moderators have to take a course before they can be approved as a moderator on the channel.
So
A
you'd be
literal
working
course.
up to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson being in
That's
there.
that's the goal. Yeah, like the biggest names ever.
Yeah.
And like think about it. So if Neil deGrasse Tyson agreed to debate, just say a geocentrist, not even a flat earther, or like a plasma electric universe guy or whatever.
Try to get an astronaut.
A
That
concaver.
would be really cool.
An astronaut. I mean, maybe.
I mean, you could pair him up with
Nah,
someone
that's not
that's really good against him.
That would be the least likely though, because they're like all up in the government. Right?
Well, that's
Or
true.
maybe.
Still be cool to watch though.
Dude, I will say the astronauts are not prepped for that, bro. Like I've had conversations with them, and yeah, man, I don't know. They contradict themselves. And,
I thought they're supposed to be like super smart to do that shit.
that's what they said.
Have,
That's what they said.
They let women go up
PhDs and
there.
stuff.
Well, I mean, what I will say is, dude, you can have a PhD and not be very smart, right? Like, if anyone's ever been in college at all, like, like some of the smartest people in the class, like, will barely pass. And some of the not very smart people will have an A. Like,
Yeah,
the type of people that will ask for help from you. And
You
it's
can be
like,
really smart and not be able to like debate and shit too. You know what I mean?
That's-
People can be really smart and be like piss poor
Yeah, right,
debaters.
Cole. It's definitely
That's
a
a
thing
verbal
though. You'll find that what is it? The people that get the really high scores, they're still intelligent. They're actually kind of very good time managers. They look at the brief, they follow it to the T. They spend no time wasting, but they never kind of really blow the lecturers and the professors away. It's usually like some guy with some niche idea who actually gets an underscored mark because it's not great in its execution, but the idea in itself is something that's really interesting that the professor likes, that they've gone in a slightly different angle with. Yeah.
well, there's obviously a huge difference between like tests and grades. And like a lot of people that I always hear is like that people just aren't good test takers. And that's a real thing, obviously. But like obviously the ability to take tests is a certain type of intelligence. The ability to retain the information efficiently, recall it in under a certain time limit, it is a certain type of intelligence. Like you can have good grades and just like really go all in, and someone can have a C because they just didn't do that. And like sometimes that'll be more frequent than not because if someone's really smart and they're sitting in a classroom, they're going to lose interest because the class is taught at the pace that everyone can understand. So it becomes boring very quick for the smarter people.
It's
I
sort of
mean,
like
like
how you can
ironically.
have, yep, you can have like a boxer who's like really good when he's just training or it's like sparring, but when he has an actual match, like he just crumbles and can't handle the pressure, just falls apart. But
Yeah.
we do like a baby version of what your idea is at least when I debate Jace, it's kind of like that. He's a PhD biochemist, and I just dunk on that guy.
Yeah, I don't know if Jace would ever go on camera and do the debate. I've tried to get him to debate me on MDD or something, and he didn't want to. But I largely
He said
wouldn't
he'd
be
be
doing
down
it.
for an event like on here or on Rigs or something.
Yeah, of course. Like in order to maximize entertainment value or like any type of revenue, people got to be on camera. It's got to be like a live
Yeah.
stream. Yeah. But I mean, I'm even down to maybe host them in here. I haven't decided if I want to create a server just for it or not. I don't know what I'm going to do, but yeah. I mean, I'm curious for any feedback on the general format as well, because like I think the biggest part of it actually is moderation. So like the only channel that's even close to doing something like this is MDD, and the moderation is just trash, bro. It's absolute trash. It doesn't even exist basically. So
Eventually, you would want it in person. That would be.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you want to have like in-person events, and then the in-person events, you get tickets to go, and then people can also pay for PPV online, which is way cheaper, obviously. So that
It
way,
could
because
be
it wouldn't
like
be
a
fair to
whole.
the people that go.
You could have like a series of. It's like a fight card. You could have like multiple debates.
Exactly. Yes, it's gonna be like
Yeah.
a UFC, like a main card, and that'd be cool. And then what you do is just rent out like a college auditorium or something, kind of like the who did Professor Dave debate? James Tor or whatever his name is. I think he debated him on evolution.
Yeah, I
I
saw
think.
that.
Yeah, yeah, like something like that. Like their setup was dope. They had the screens behind them. They had really good camera quality. They had a whole auditorium. Imagine that, but you had 5 debates throughout the day, and then you had the main debate at the end, and then whoever was watching it online. No, it's or it could be broadcast live for free, or it's pay-per-view broadcast live pay-per-view, and then after like a week, it's released to the public. I mean, either way would work, but you're gonna make less if you don't put it behind a paywall online because people are like, well, why would I pay to go when I can just watch it online for free? So I don't know. Anyway, that's the real goal. Like I honestly feel like it just doesn't exist. I feel like uh, moderation is important. So like I want to pay the moderators pretty good, and I want to give them a percentage of what it makes. So like the bigger the debate, the more they make, and they actually have to pass a course to go. Like they have to actually pass a course. They have to show basic understanding of logic and what comes with a moderator and like what to do. They have to pass the course to be on the list.
Why don't you just moderate them? You seem to be
I'm
pretty
gonna
unbiased.
I'm gonna moderate quite a bit of them for sure. Like the idea, I guess, is to try to show what would be ideal from my perspective of moderation. But I don't want to have to do all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather not have to do that. Or say if I'm ever gonna do a debate, I'm gonna need someone else to help.
You should try to get like a mascot or something. Get like branding. Have like a mascot there during the debates.
Bro,
Hype the people up.
if you're being like genuine, criteria of judges as well.
What do you mean?
How are you going to determine the winner?
Oh yeah, that's a decent point. I mean,
Yeah, the criteria for the judges to evaluate.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And it isn't about the truth of the conclusion, it's about the debate. Because you can win a debate and be wrong. So it would actually just be about the debate. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about that. I'm definitely
If
open
it
to
is a
advice about
healthy
that.
competition, which it sounds like it could be, if you genuinely want to attempt it, these are things, as you speak off, I see the competition part. Healthy competition, this is what would be necessary.
Speaking
Right?
of moderation, do you guys think you could unmute Wish? Anybody?
Bro, yeah, is he in here now? I mean,
Yeah, he's drunk.
Is he like your IRL brother or something? His voice sounds so similar to yours. Then you like rep for him so hard. Yeah, I guess he's like in here now. I mean, dude, like you were saying, he's been wrongly modded. I would say he's never been wrongly modded, dude. He has said wild, like racist stuff and like stuff that would get the server shut down. Like this guy has been like really problematic.
Talking about Greg?
No, Wish. So I don't know. I'll unmute him, but I don't know if you can talk to him in the background if he's your buddy and you're always like repping for him. Dude, he has said a bunch of bunch of stuff on here that has been like literally could get the whole server shut down. Like crazy racist stuff and like sexual comments, like all kinds of wild shit, dude. So I don't know who this guy is. Like he's been in here a few times, but you're always repping for him and asking him to be unmuted. We then unmute him and he says wild stuff and gets muted again. So he interrupts and derails and does all and then says like wild stuff. So I don't know who he is or I'm not too familiar with him.
Well, Wish, you be waiting till I'm not in here to do that stuff then. You're tactical with the troll. Wish, listen to please just like tone it back. Rein it in some. Yo, I am like really interested in this idea of judging. I didn't think about that. Like, so you can like poll the audience. So like whoever goes in person, if they were in person, they could vote. Whoever watches it can obviously vote. But like that doesn't mean anything. People normally vote with what they think is true. You could really harp to the audience like, yo, it isn't about who you think is correct with their conclusion. It's strictly about who actually did a better job presenting their argument with evidence without being fallacious, et cetera, et cetera. But that would just be like a cherry on top. That couldn't be the determining factor of who quote unquote won. There would have to be some objective standard that the like a panel or whatever would maybe help with. Because then of course the panel, but the judges are biased or whatever. There could be an objective standard. You could account for fallacies and like even tally them up live, et cetera. And like then the judges would help with some of the minutia, like who presented evidence specific to the point, who did such and such, such and such. So, or how many points went unrebutted. Yeah, I don't know. That would be the tricky part. But that would definitely be amazing if you could achieve that, because that's another thing that no other platform does. No debate platform with awesome moderation and a sufficient way to determine who, quote unquote, won that debate exists anywhere. Does anyone know of anything? Like, I haven't found anything like that. If it existed, I would watch it all the time. I know not everyone likes debates like that, but I do. I think it's the most efficient way.
For you.
Hey, Geo.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Any good leader knows that you're supposed to reprimand somebody in private and reward them in public. So I don't know what kind of sick like thing you have going on where you got to just talk bad about me in front of 30 plus people, but hey, I'll take it this time, but for next time you should probably just do that kind of thing in private instead of putting me on blast in front of everybody.
You speak publicly.
Yeah, dude, you've done a bunch of insane shit in here that's publicly vile.
Name one.
Yeah, many things. It's actually threatened the server multiple times. You have a guy in here called Blob who's repping for you and trying to like spark you up and trying to get you unmuted and account restricted over and over.
I'm just asking you to name
So yeah,
one
after
crazy
doing this
thing
over and
I've
over, because I'll probably just ban you permanently. That'll be it.
Why are you getting all riled up?
Because there's been a string of trolls. We had QOP, we had Blob, we've had all kinds of insane accusations, and now you come in here, troll number 3, with your buddy Blob asking you to be unmuted, and then Blob was trying to say that you've always been wrongly modded, which is also a lie. And then you come in now and he asks once again for his troll buddy to be unmuted. And then I did say, hey, Blob, just so you know, this guy has said some extremely vile shit, racist, sexual, all kinds of. Yes, they're on the recording. We can name them all. They're on the recording. Yes. We can go through every single one. And every single time you've done it, it threatens the server. So I don't know if you're a genuine individual, if you're trying to get the server shut down, or what your goal is, but it's extremely problematic and very rare of somebody like you who does this. I don't know if you're not serious. You have a troll buddy with Blob and QOP, whatever you're doing. That's the only reason it was spoken about publicly, is because Blob was speaking about you and because you've been a repeated problem.
Yeah, this is
Wish,
the
can I
type
say
of
this real
thing you
fast
should
before you?
do in
Wish,
private,
Wish.
not in public.
Yeah, but
Like,
Wish,
you're
can I
the
say
type of
this real
thing you
fast
should
before you?
do in
Wish,
private,
Wish,
not in
Wish,
public.
Wish.
Not in
Yeah, but
public. Like,
Wish,
you're
No,
just
it's
Wish,
making it
happening
can
in
worse.
you
public tonight. It's happening all in
exactly?
public
Yeah, but
tonight.
you're just making it
Wish, Wish,
worse,
wait,
though.
Wish,
You're not
listen,
really
Wish,
helping
listen. Can you
anything.
see how? Listen though, can you see how if Bob is making the accusations about the server publicly, it would need to be addressed publicly. So this
Correct.
idea that it
That
should all
wasn't
be
me, though.
handled
So
privately.
blowing up on me, about me for someone else's
Well,
question is
well,
kind of
Wish,
just
Wish, Wish.
insane.
I know Geo's not just completely making stuff up, bro, and so do
It's
you.
not about making it
You
up.
may
It's
will
about
argue that
blowing
he's
up
being
in
hyperbolic or
public
something.
in front of all of these
Okay.
people, just making me look bad. How am I supposed to have a conversation with anyone here if you just destroy
You
my
make yourself
credibility
look
out of nowhere?
bad, Wish.
All right.
You
You've
Rick's,
done it
make
Oh, look,
this
hey,
yourself
isn't
look.
your
just turn up, bro.
conversation. So it's a 3v1 now?
No, no, I'm trying to
Come
help.
on, just
Wish, can
pile
you?
on,
Wait,
guys.
I'm trying to help you.
Really good
Can you?
example for the server.
I feel like I'm helping you quite a bit, actually.
I'll just
Like
blow
you
up
do,
on me
you,
publicly and then 3v1 me. That's fair.
dude. Chill. You already said
Just
that three
thanks, guys.
times. Okay, so you get the point, right? Blob kind of made the accusation that we were honing in on you unfairly, and like, dude, I've been in this server for years, bro. To be honest, it's actually wild how much this server lets go, right? And they do that in the interest of free speech, like to the
They
max.
play favorites, but they don't let shit go when it's me.
Well, wish.
I've
Is
noticed.
there any genuine question? Is there anything that you could probably take accountability for in terms of like how you've gone about things on the server? Like, are you gonna? Would you acknowledge that you have indeed like pushed the envelope at times, or like, come on? I know it
That's
doesn't
what
just
we're all
come out
here.
of nowhere.
That's what we're all here doing is pushing the envelope. That's what this entire Discord was made for.
Yeah, but dude,
Bro,
when it comes to conduct, the thing is like all this talk about banning, dude, the thing is we ban extremely rarely compared to any other server and all of these, like you guys know other servers that just ban like crazy. And if you know the history of these communities and discussions, we are extremely lenient. We have a very lenient like warning system that you get warnings and things. However, if somebody does something that's like doxing or extreme racism, something
I've never
like
doxed,
really,
bro.
okay, I
Don't
didn't
even
say
try
you
to say
did.
that.
I didn't
you
say
didn't say
you
you did.
doxed. But what I'm saying is that there are some scenarios where there's something very extreme. Dude, we're on Discord. We're on someone else's platform. It's not my platform. We're on Discord. And I care about the community and the truth and being able to keep it going. That's the only reason that, unfortunately, I have to enforce the stupid Discord TOS because we don't have our own independent thing different than Discord. Dude, we are extremely lenient. The community, we allow everyone to be here. And against the claims of many that say we should ban more people or get rid of more people, we have to deal with that every day. So the thing is, you have been one individual. Trust me, I know, dude. I've been doing this every single day for many, many, many years. So it became public when Blob keeps bringing you up over and over and is claiming that we're somehow treating you wrongly with modding. And I'm telling him and you and everyone here, we're not. And I'm telling you, and he came up again because he said, can you be unmuted? So the thing is, you'll have to turn things around in some way. I know exactly what you've done. I don't really know you very well as a person, but I know what you've done on the server because I kind of know in general what happens with everybody. And you have been somebody that has done said some extremely concerning things that put the server at risk, way more than just a Glober throwing an insult or a flat earther throwing insult or anything to that extent. You've done some things. So I've wondered, like, are you doing it on purpose? Are you purposefully coming in to try to get the server shut down? Like, it's pretty severe, your situation. You're right. I've never DM'd with you. I've never talked privately. The only reason this is coming up private is because you have this guy Blob who's repeatedly telling you to be unmuted and unrestricted, and then you do it again and get muted again. So that's the only reason it's happening over and over. And that's the only reason it became public in this way. This is extremely rare. We don't ever have things like this happen.
Okay, so taking accountability for some things. Yeah, honestly, I think Geo might have a vendetta against me right now because I have said some harsh things about past lives and, you know, doing ayahuasca and things of that nature.
That is not it. That's not it. Now you're just placating.
But I'd like
being
to
deceptive.
apologize.
It has nothing to do with that, dude. That's not
I'm
the
apologize for that.
I don't care about that, about ayahuasca or past lives. That's not even what the concern is. If you're trolling me thinking that that's some funny thing that you can laugh at, I guess you can do that's your own thing. But that's not what it's being referred to.
Which I've personally heard you say things that have nothing to do with that, where I can easily see you, like, you definitely do get off on kind of like trying to say something outlandish to get a reaction. I mean, you know, I've never heard anything like crazy, but obviously you do that. Even Blob was admitting that you do that. I don't know. Just
but he
just heat
doesn't.
some.
Just because we kind of sound alike doesn't mean he knows my brain. So like,
No,
he
it's
can't
not about
really
your
speak
brain.
for
It's
what I
about
like or what I don't like.
no. I'm talking
You
about like you
intentionally.
trolling, bro. like you saying things that are trolling with the intention of trolling. He's like, dude, and then someone trolls for like 10 or 15 seconds. They get muted. That's not fair. And I'm just pointing out, like, dude, for one, like the actual objective of this place, like just zoomed all the way out, is to figure stuff out. It's to actually like get to the truth of different subjects. That's the actual goal. That's the objective. So like,
How long have you been
in
doing this, Witsit?
5, 6 years, bro.
Has there been
So
any
yeah.
actual like progress
Well, that's what I'm saying,
in
dude.
real life
Are
with
you in
it?
any way genuine? Because like people throw around the word troll a lot.
I'm
It gets
asking a
thrown
genuine
around.
question,
The
and you're
thing is, like,
cutting it off.
we're very lenient to the point that we don't just like pop bans on people. Oh, you're a troll, bam, bam, bam. We don't do that. The only thing is that we do have the Discord TOS, and the issue with you, now that it's all been public here, we're discussing it, is
No, I get it.
you said and done things on the server that are
Yes, I
extremely
understand.
threatening to having the whole thing shut down.
Can you
And I
Okay.
can you at
apologize.
least acknowledge that as a thing, and that you can have like more respect in general of like, okay, because you obviously if you come in like just
Listen,
recently, and this has been
I
a
don't
thing
have
for
ill
years.
intentions. I'm not trying to get the server shut down, okay?
Okay, can you try to
That's
be
a
attentive of some of the
that's a
things like
rigs level thing. That's not where I'm at.
okay, so you can try to be more attentive with certain things that would get the server taken down. Because obviously, if you're kind of new to this place, if the server got taken down, like it wouldn't really affect you. But like, imagine the amount of like time and energy that Geo's put into this place. Like he was describing it earlier, it's insane. Like streaming it
Honestly,
to all these
after
different platforms, recording it
yeah,
simultaneously, like paying to do that. Like that's just insane.
I
So
get
it's
it. But
like,
after what Geo did to me tonight, I don't care for him, but I do care for Jeremy.
okay, well, whatever.
We
All
don't
the
care.
personal stuff aside, yeah. Like the thing is, that's the other thing that's cool about this place. Like we don't really care about like that. Like I'm making a bigger point. So, and you're asking me if progress has been made. I mean, it's a super
Like in real
vague
life,
question, highly
not
dependent
like in
upon
the conversation. Obviously, progress has
progress
been made
in
in the conversation, but real life with this.
progress, as in like my role,
I'm
or
sorry,
just
what?
in general. What do you mean
No,
progress? Like,
just progress with us actually making a physical, tangible difference in the world with flat Earth or with
well,
whatever
I would say
ether or
yeah.
whatever you want to do.
Well, okay. Well, for one, simply like getting the conversation out to a larger group of people does make a change in real life because realistically, what you can hope to do is wake people up to the lies of the system and then they build outside of it. Think about the
But
amount
it,
of people that, for example, have made children that aren't getting vaccinated and they're being homeschooled and stuff like that. And then now the future generation is going to kind of grow up without being like being liberated. Like, I don't know what anyone else is hoping to attain here. I mean, it would be somewhat delusional to think we're going to actually like overthrow like the power systems that facilitate the propaganda, right? Like all you can really hope to do is wake up as many people as you
QOP's,
can.
What's
QOP's
even
just
the
a
point of
few
the
steps
question,
away from
Wish?
doing it. Well, it's just to prove
Wish
that,
you
like, I've also been around these servers for about 5 years, and it just seems like I come in here, take a few months break, I'll come in, and we're just still talking about the horizon and how shit's not curving. It's like, where are we going with
okay? Well,
this, you know?
there's new people that come into the conversation all the time. Other people want to sort of dig up dirt from the past. I'm pretty sure we know what you're talking about there. And then thirdly, man, like you're just providing some sort of armchair criticism or something. Like, I mean, if you've
Oh
got
yeah, it'll be the
concerns about
punching bag
progress,
tonight. Anybody else?
if you've got concerns about the lack of progress, what are you doing to remedy the lack of progress except for showing up every so often and saying, "Oh, there's been no progress"? Like, what are you actually doing?
Well, I actually gave an attempt to show people how it doesn't need to be 5 years of conversation. We could just do this experiment and get it done, and then everybody's just like, no, it's impossible. This easy experiment's impossible.
Dude,
The only person who agreed with
not
me
an
was Rick
organizer of
Evans.
people. You're not an
It doesn't,
organizer of people, man.
doesn't
No one
matter.
wants to, like, you're not a charismatic human being. You can't campaign for
Okay, go
things.
ahead. Just throw these personal
You're just a
insults.
negative. You're just a negative dude. Dude, you're people to do stuff.
I think you cut out Ricksky.
But if I
mean,
was
dude,
saying
Wish
that
you could
stuff
do you could
to
do you could
Ricksky,
do
I would
any
be muted and kicked.
You could do any experiment you want to do. Your conduct on this server has been barely acceptable to even be here compared to everybody else who never has an issue. So that's the thing. When people get modded, you have to realize there's only about 3% of people on the server that ever get modded. 98% plus of the people are never modded once. You know how many people in this V server now have never even been modded? So modding is pretty rare. So as it stands now, at least with here, you have been barely able to even function here. If you want to turn that all around and somehow now be productive and helpful, then cool. If there's an experiment you want to do, lay it out. I'm not saying right now, I'm not saying at the moment, but if you have something productive you want to bring, as of now, you have to have this, Blob has to keep asking you to be unmuted because you continually are tripping wires.
In which, let me ask you another question. If you do an experiment, because by the way, in my opinion, like the curvature of the globe already has been undeniably refuted. The motion of the Earth has been undeniably refuted over a century ago, actually. Like,
So are
the
you saying
battle is
TFE was fake then?
no.
Then how do you reconcile the fact that you went there, saw 24-hour sun, and every single thing that we've known about flat Earth, like that's not possible?
Well, don't group me in the we have known about flat Earth
No.
thing because I've never said
Maybe
no.
you
I've
could have
never.
been the only person who thought that
No.
that wouldn't be possible, but
No, I mean, I didn't expect it. Like probably most people. Once I knew the trip was happening, I started to realize, like, okay, it's clearly going to be there. But that doesn't. This is what I don't understand about the reasoning. Like, it is independent of everything else. Like, it would be so ignorant to be like, okay, like what Jaren's doing is wild. It's like, oh, all this
Aaron's
other
being
stuff
honest.
that's
Being honest
no, he's
is not
not.
lying.
No, he's not. He's not. He's not being honest though, because when he says like, "Oh yeah, well, it makes sense that it could be moving," after 10 years of knowing all the evidence that falsified it moving, and then once he said it could be moving, he didn't say, "And here are the explanations or answers to all these falsifications of it
What's
moving."
a 24-hour sun explanation?
Do you not get the point? It isn't
Yeah, but I want to
honest.
know that.
Okay, well, I'm
If
making a
you have
point
time to
that
explain it.
if your inability to understand that that is independent of the falsification seems to just be unimportant to you, that's your opinion, right? But like, I think this is a major issue. The fact that people don't understand that doesn't somehow, it's just basic logic, that observation doesn't somehow equate to a rebuttal for all the falsifications. That is insane. It is giving
Well,
this idea of the
it's a
globe
seesaw
way.
here. It's either I believe that TFE is fake and the Earth is flat, or I go to the other side, TFE is real, but the Earth is a ball. Or you
Okay.
could give me a solution as to why a 24-hour sun would happen. Because
Okay,
that's
do you
where
not
I'm
get
at,
the
and that's
point?
how this whole TFE is
The
fake
third
thing
option is
started.
that the Earth is flat, but there's wraparound.
He's not going to know what you mean by that.
Wraparound?
Yeah. So Jaren, he didn't have the faith to adopt wraparound. He thought it was ridiculous, like kind of like this Pac-Man theory, basically where the ends of I should say like the ends of the Earth, the poles, if you will, connect. So it's like a southern ring, but also a pole type, observed as a pole. But basically just like this imperceivable blending of the connected ends of the Earth. It sounds crazy, I know.
Are you talking
So
about
now we're all dual pole flat earthers?
No.
That's not what he just said. No. But like, I will say what's pretty interesting, and like, look, people can take this or leave it. I don't care. Back in the day, so like, that's fat. Let's rewind like a year ago before we went, right? We would always talk about like, how does the sun work, and we talk about these different ideas, different models, whatever. And then Enoch would get brought up. It's like, hey, yo, look, this book was removed right, from the scriptures, and then it was taught without it. And by the way, it was like a huge deal. They put a lot of effort into removing that book. A lot of effort. Like whatever you think about the Bible, like the powers that be didn't want the average person reading that book. Right? That's just a fact. Easily verifiable. That book makes all kinds of cosmological claims. One of them is that Enoch was taken up and shown how everything works, and that the sun goes through gates, 6 separate gates, like that effectively what amounts to a portal. The sun actually goes through like little gates in the heavens. Now, everyone always just kind of thought, I don't know what that means. That's like people try to reason it out as like it doesn't really mean gates, and it just means like these different periods throughout the year going in and out over the AE. But now all of a sudden, this claim that the sun is going through some type of like it has some type of gates, like 6 gates that it goes through, is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting now that this book that was like heavily censored. I mean, some people don't believe in the Bible, some do, whatever. Like if you do, it claims to provide context to Genesis, right? And it explains the whole story of these entities that came down, which by the way, throw the whole Bible out, throw Enoch out. All these other civilizations claim the same thing, that these entities came down, taught man how to do all this stuff, took women as wives, all this stuff, right? I'm just saying, it's very interesting that this
Is
book
this gonna
said that.
explain
Yeah,
TFE
why
though?
not? Yeah, there could be some
I
type of
feel like
gate.
it fails to explain it though. What's it? Because
Why?
as I understand it, Enoch was taken up, and it's just like the heavens or like the sun that's going through these gates. Whereas it would need to be something that happens on the ground. Like even us as we're traveling would need to be wraparounding for like the real world data points to be kind of like to make sense.
But we're just seeing it from the ground. But this is the other thing, right? And like there is no matter how much people want to act like they can rebut this, there isn't a rebuttal to this, bro. Like if you have multiple layers of some type of containment and it has fluid within it and there's different distribution or density of those fluids, and there are actual layers, like physical layers, and then there's a light source up above these layers at one of the top layers, whatever. If anyone's experimented with anything like that, you take one light source, it makes a ton of different light sources. And if you come down in the middle, like where you see the light source changes as you move around. You can hold the light source still and then look from down underneath like this, like say like layered dome, right? And I haven't been able to do it like layered domes, but I've had like layered like horizontal like pieces of like glass. If you look down through it and as you move around, where you see that light source changes based on wherever you move, and the light's not moving, right? So
Yep. But
imagine that. Like everyone has their own apparent sun that they're perceiving through the layers of the heavens, and it's just relative to wherever they are. As you get to the extremities, you're going to perceive everything, including stars, including the moon, including the sun. All of that's going to be coming down through those layers. So
Sure,
if you
but
start
now
adding
let's take
motion
light
to
source
it,
out of it. Take light source out of it. If you have different people in different parts of the South America, the tip of South America, South Africa, Australia, and say they're all traveling, out, all traveling south. They're going to be eventually. I believe they're going to wrap around, and as they're traveling out to the southern pole or the southern ring, if you will, they're going to also meet at the southern pole. As they travel south, the sun is going to, its path in the sky is going to level out as it approach, like in terms of the solstice. On the Tropic of Capricorn, it's gonna be leveling out to the point where they're all going to observe it at some point, going like right on the solstice. They're going to observe it just in a straight line, in the sky. It's not gonna there's not gonna be a rising or setting of the sun, and they're all going to be in the same location at that point. Like the Earth is going to wrap around such that as they're all traveling out towards the southern ring, that wraps around into the same south pole, that the same point. You understand? So it doesn't, like, you don't need to have a light source or whatever. I'm saying the Earth is physically wrapping around. People are physically wrapping around as they're traveling. So it's as if it is a ball, but there's no curvature. So like this is a kind of like an optical illusion.
Well, why are you so
I would
convinced that that's
rather
a
believe
thing?
in the 500 outer realm continents than believe that flat Earth has wraparound like a video game.
I mean, that's up to you. Jaren was the same, and that's why he went globe. You know, like the
Right,
two
Well, this
but
is
premises
what
not.
are
I
no measured
genuinely don't.
curvature and all the
Yeah,
real world data points that we have. Jaren he like denied premise one because he couldn't adopt this wraparound idea. You know,
hey,
which doesn't make sense because there's no
that's
measured
not the
curvature.
only idea. This is the thing though. What Jaren's doing is objectively illogical to ignore all the other pieces of evidence. I talked to him about it in private, talked to him about it in public, and I asked him point blank. He's like, I don't know, but whatever their explanation is must be right because of this, and this must not be possible. Like that's really not logical. And I know that when I say this, people just perceive it as some like like bad faith, like I'm just trying to avoid it, right? Some cop out. It isn't though. Before I can even get to the point of wanting to engage with someone honestly about it, it's like I want them to acknowledge this point first. If I have a list of 20 things that show that the spinning globe isn't true, and then I come over here and I find an observation that matches the globe and I don't currently understand how it would work on a flat earth,
Yes.
the list
Hold
of
on. I don't know
20
your name.
doesn't disappear.
No, no, money. Thank you.
I don't know how much more simpler that could be put. And like, how is that not just objectively true? Can someone help me understand? No, that's not just
Orixki said
objectively
I
true.
had no charisma. He just fumbled while talking to a chick.
Bro, she sounded happy. I don't know. I don't know what you heard. And the fact that you're still holding on to that for a while shows that, like, you know, you're thinking about him way more than he's
I
thinking
had
about you.
psychoanalyzed. No, he hot mic'd, and it was funny.
Okay, did you hear the actual
Anyways,
point that was made? I mean, Witsit, the only
Witsit, yeah,
reason it would be
I'm with you,
that, the
man.
only reason is if there's something that is like fatal to a model or an idea. But I agree with you, it wouldn't throw everything else out. But if that one thing didn't work on it, as it were, you know, I guess that would be like if like if curvature was found that the Earth can't be flat, like something that's like fatal to it.
Yeah, it could
You know.
falsify. Yeah, well, sure. Yeah. I mean, and that would address a lot of the falsification in and of itself if you actually physically measure curvature rate. But like, yeah, a celestial observation can debunk an idea as to what you have of it. It's like, so hey, just let's entertain a hypothetical. What if the realm we live in is fundamentally not knowable? Like, we can't know the entirety of what it is. Like, since when has man become so arrogant that they think they know for a fact, 100% sure, that they can know what the whole entire earth is, the whole realm is in entirety, and exactly how it works?
That's a
Only
huge cop
since
out.
no, see that I knew I just said someone can just say it's a cop out. Only since this idea of the globe was put forward have people even believed that. Throughout all of mankind's history, people knew you couldn't, and they just depicted more meta, abstract, like artistic depictions of it. And then what happened was the royal family just went to go map out the earth, and they spent an insane amount of money, what would amount to basically billions of dollars now, with no restrictions because they, you know, they had the power, obviously, and they had no restrictions in terms of what they could access. It took them decades or even hundreds of years to do this, to map out coastlines, to do all this. They bring it back to the king, right? And the king doesn't even release the queen or king, doesn't release all the information that the explorers actually went and found and brought back. And then like some of the stuff gets quote unquote released like years later, so there's no telling what they kept in there or removed, but it doesn't matter. And then they say, here are the continents of the world, here's how the world's laid out, and here's the coordinate system, the longitude and latitude system of the world. No one is allowed to make a map unless they use this coordinate system only. That is wild. Just the fact that that's a true story, the fact that that's a fact, that some kings, that some royal family said, hey, no one's allowed to make a map and publish it unless you use this coordinate system only. And then people did that. They made maps. This is where you get the FE map. And now we fast forward to now, and they've got everyone in the world arguing, how do you explain the whole Earth with this specific system only, this coordinate system? Like,
Okay,
it's
I don't think
really
it's a
hard to
cop out.
find the deception here.
I don't think it's a cop out, but I think even though I'll grant that we're not going to know everything about the Earth, but what we do know, or what we can know, and it should be consistent. It should not have any contradictions. It should make sense because the Earth is a thing, right? It's not constantly unpredictably changing on us, and every day. It's
It
we
is
have the physical
something.
laws of the
Yes, it is
universe, and it's
objectively
kind of
something.
static. It's been made by God to be kind of something that you can rely on. So I do feel like it should
There
be
is an objective
consistent.
truth about the Earth, yes. But that the
Could
whole point
I?
is just that doesn't mean that we know what it is, or we can know
No,
what
I'm
it
not saying
is.
we should will know
Yeah.
everything. I'm saying that what we shouldn't, that what we do know, that we learn, should be cohesive. It should be consistent. It should not have contradictions. So,
Well,
like,
so can I just
yeah.
quickly respond to that? So this
We know what we call it. We call it the moon, but what is it? No idea other than a nightlight.
What happened was the royal family just went to go map out the Earth, and they spent an insane amount of money, what would amount to basically billions of dollars now, with no restrictions because they had the power, obviously. They couldn't. And they just depicted more meta abstract, like artistic depictions of it. And then what happened was the royal family just went to go map out the Earth, and they spent an insane amount of money, what would amount to basically billions of dollars now, with no restrictions because they had the power, obviously, and they had no restrictions in terms of what they could access. It took them decades or even hundreds of years to do this, to map out coastlines, to do all this. They bring it back to the king, right? And the king doesn't even release, the queen or king doesn't release all the information that the explorers actually went and found and brought back. And then like some of the stuff gets quote unquote released like years later, so there's no telling what they kept in there or removed, but it doesn't matter. And then they say, here are the continents of the world, here's how the world's laid out, and here's the coordinate system, the longitude and latitude system of the world. No one is allowed to make a map unless they use this coordinate system only. That is wild. Just the fact that that's a true story, the fact that that's a fact, that some kings, that some royal family said, hey, no one's allowed to make a map and publish it unless you use this coordinate system only. And then people did that. They made maps. This is where you get the FE map. And now we fast forward to now, and they've got everyone in the world arguing, how do you explain the whole Earth with this specific system only, this coordinate system? Like,
Okay,
it's
I don't think
really
it's a
hard to
cop out.
find the deception here.
I don't think it's a cop out, but I think even though I'll grant that we're not going to know everything about the Earth, but what we do know, or what we can know, and it should be consistent. It should not have any contradictions. It should make sense because the Earth is a thing, right? It's not constantly unpredictably changing on us, and every day.
It
We
is
have the physical
something.
laws of the
Yes, it is
universe, and it's
objectively
kind of
something.
static. It's been made by God to be kind of something that you can rely on. So I do feel like it should
There
be
is an objective
consistent.
truth about the Earth, yes. But that the
could
whole
I?
point is that doesn't mean that we know what it is, or we can know
No,
what
I'm
it
not saying
is.
we should will know
Yeah.
everything. I'm saying that what we shouldn't, that what we do know, that we learn, should be cohesive. It should be consistent. It should not have contradictions. So,
Well,
like,
so can I just
yeah.
quickly respond to that? So the sky, right, like may take on like a supernatural geometry to it that we're not going to be able to resolve. And if we're sitting here, it's like saying, oh, like the sky should work much like how the ground does. It should have Euclidean geometry to it, and we should be able to rationalize it. But if that's not actually true, then we're like literally chasing a wild goose or something. We're chasing a unicorn or a figment of an idea that we could ever correlate the sky with the ground perfectly. And that actually may be one of the traps that you end up in, right? It's because you think you're going to necessarily be able to solve it with the physics that we understand down here on the ground. And then you're going to try to apply that into the sky without sort of any other change to it. I mean, you might be chasing your tail. It might not be possible.
Yeah, but it's
And
not
like
necessarily a huge mystery how like the ground positions of stars work. I mean, unless somebody wants to contest that, but like the celestial almanac. But like I've always said this thing where if you freeze frame the sky, like just right now, you just hit pause, and then you went around the whole Earth and put a flag underneath the ground position of every single star, and one under the sun and the moon, etc. You would end up with two huge swirls on the ground, two big vortex, just like the two star trails we see. That would just be you know, mirrored down on the ground. You see two huge rotations on the sky, and if you put a flag under every single star, you freeze frame the sky, so I'm not saying when it's moving, and then you would end up with two huge circular star trail looking things of flags on the ground. And if that's the case, and if there is just one GP, when you freeze frame it like that, there's only one GP, then it would have to be a two-pole planar Earth, unless anybody has any other way that could work. Now, if there's many, if the northern one has consistent GPs, but then the southern one is like only like a mirror or it's a parent or something like that, and it moves around, well, then we should be able to, you'd have to be able to put down a flag and be at a GP of the same star, in multiple positions. And if that was a thing, then that would be possible. Otherwise, the two rotations are fixed to points on the ground, thus meaning the ground has the two-pole layout like the sky does. And if anyone has a rebuttal for that, then feel free. But I don't see any way around that being the case.
Well,
I
it
just think it's
depends. Like, has everybody checked on the equator every single spot along the equator, or is it just like the main places where the star trails have been taken, like in maybe a two or three spots along the equator? The equator's a really long line, right? Like, I don't think that the star trails have been taken for more than 50% of the entirety of the equator. So it could be an anomaly for only 50% of it.
Just a comment to Geo a little bit is I don't know, like I don't know what the nature of the sky is, but when you showed me that picture of the stenography where on the vertical on the left hand side of it, it's like 2 point dots, and then you've got the central like azimuthal equidistant map that's perpendicular to it. And then when you correlate those two at the center, you end up with the spherical geometry. So the idea might be that you're looking up into something that is like almost interdimensional. Like, I don't mind playing around with those ideas in my mind. I know it seems to irk a lot of other people though.
Are you talking about like a stereographic projection of a spherical coordinates onto a two-pole planar? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I can go dig it out. It's the one with the ball at the center, and then it's two surfaces perpendicular to one another, and then you just draw it out, and you end up with a sphere in the center.
I've got it right. I've got it right here. You talking about this, where you have the sphere, you have the azimuthal for like the southern hemisphere, and then you could have another azimuthal for the northern up on the top.
That's the one.
Yeah, and then the vertical. Yeah, that vertical wall is just I call it stereographic, although that is what it's called because it's stereo, it's left and right. You have two poles, but it's basically the north and south pole of the spherical coordinates, but it's onto a plane. That's that vertical wall. And that is essentially what the sky looks like. You have these two huge rotations, two 24-hour suns, 6 months apart. The sun transition over the equator. The sun's rotating around Polaris for 6 months, and once it crosses the equator, it starts rotating around the Sigma Octantis. It starts rotating around the southern pole. And so the star kind of transitions almost like, or the sun kind of transitions almost like a figure eight effect when it goes over the equator, etc. And then you have the two huge star rotations, the straight line at the equator. So, and that is what an electric field circuit, the actual grid lines of an electric field circuit. So if the sky is moving like an electric field circuit, that would make sense in terms of that in the electromagnetic field. The thing is, though, when you put the continents laid out between those two poles, you then end up with a lot of these other issues, like the thing Percentage is talking about, like is there some kind of wraparound type effect, which I've never said necessarily that's the case. But look, if I post this, which is kind of one idea of how the continents could be laid out with the two poles, if you fly from like Australia to Hawaii on the globe, that's like just a straight line shot. Like you don't have to loop all the way up around South Africa. You don't have to loop all the way up around Asia. You just literally go straight. And on that map, that would be like going from Sydney down to the lower right of that map. And then you'd pop up over in Hawaii. So on the globe, that's just like a straight shot. They just get in a, I mean, they claim they just get in a plane in Sydney and just fly up to Hawaii, so that's the thing that the two poles works in terms of the sky to a degree, in terms of the sun and the stars with an electric field circuit. But then you end up with basically like the Pacific Rim, because in this type of projection, it's the Pacific Ocean ends up being the ring around the outside instead of Antarctica. So now you have this like Pacific Rim thing going on, which is interesting. But then, yeah, like how would you be able to make that flight, from Sydney to Hawaii, whereas on the globe, it's just a straight shot because it's a ball. You can just fly that way. Whereas on this, yeah, like would you kind of Pac-Man or wrap around kind of idea, which I'm not, I mean, if that was happening, that would be wild. I mean, how does that even like that would be a trip beyond like to think that you just walk into some region and then somehow your body like morphs into another part of the world or something, or like shifts like that. And so I'm not putting that forth necessarily. One idea of how the continents could be laid out with the two poles. If you fly from like Australia to Hawaii on the globe, that's like just a straight line shot. Like you don't have to loop all the way up around South Africa. You don't have to loop all the way up around Asia. You just literally go straight. And on that map, that would be like going from Sydney down to the lower right of that map, and then you'd pop up over in Hawaii. So on the globe, that's just like a straight shot. They just get in a, I mean, they claim they just get in a plane in Sydney and just fly up to Hawaii. So that's the thing that the two poles works in terms of the sky to a degree, in terms of the sun and the stars with an electric field circuit. But then you end up with basically like the Pacific Rim, because in this type of projection, it's the Pacific Ocean ends up being the ring around the outside instead of Antarctica. So now you have this like Pacific Rim thing going on, which is interesting. But then, yeah, like how would you be able to make that flight, from Sydney to Hawaii, whereas on the globe, it's just a straight shot because it's a ball. You can just fly that way. Whereas on this, yeah, like would you kind of Pac-Man or wrap around kind of idea, which I'm not, I mean, happening, that would be wild. I mean, how does that even like that would be a trip beyond like to think that you just walk into some region and then somehow your body like morphs into another part of the world or something, or like shifts like that. And so I'm not putting that forth necessarily as even really viable unless that was shown to be true, because that's like pretty much supernatural or like beyond the physical world, of what we even perceive. I mean, if Earth is just a place, then like a room in a house, you don't really just warp from one side of the room to the other. So that's the thing. It brings in those other issues. But for the stars and the sky and the GPs, that's really what is being worked with, if there is one GP for every star position that's consistent. And if the sky is just changing and it's just some hyperdimensional thing that's different for different people, that's a different thing. But if it's consistent with one flag in the ground under each GP, then that's what we're dealing. Then that's what.
Have you seen the documentary called The Telepathy Tapes? With the autistic kids? The autistic kids who have telepathy, and they also, one of the mothers, she's able to actually blindfold herself. She was on some show recently, and she was able to like read what was written on the cards with blindfolds on. And so if this type of thing is possible, which obviously it is, and telekinesis, being able to move like cans with your mind, if this is true, then why couldn't we have a Pac-Man model? Because your senses to be able to read something with blindfold on is not supposed to work. You're supposed to be able to use your eyeballs for that. So if you can do it without your eyes, then I can't see why a Pac-Man model couldn't work. It's not out of the realms of possibility.
Okay. I mean, I hear why you're linking it to that. It would be some kind of extreme form of telekinesis with the physical world, where you could fly an airplane, and then you would just warp through to some other part of the world. It would be like an extreme telekinesis. I mean, I get why you're linking that, but I don't know. That's a pretty extreme thing to be happening.
I'd say that you could theoretically, the field is the thing around us that causes the compression or the condensation of material matter, right? So I just imagine if whatever that energy field is that's holding all the substance of everything together, if it weakens and you start expanding, but everything expands at the same rate, and even the trees around you are all expanding at the same rate. I mean, I've even entertained the idea that in the southern hemisphere, everything expands out because it's moving away from the most condensed portion at the center, potentially. So it's just it's relative to the state of energy that something's in, I suppose.
Have you guys ever watched a movie where it's like there's like an enchanted forest, and this group is like running through what they think is a straight line, but then they're back where they started and they can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, the Earth is a supernatural. The creation of it is a supernatural event. The Earth is supernatural. It's Allah created it. It didn't come out through like your natural means and like 0 plus 0 plus 0 somehow equaled 1. No, this is the whole like all creation is God's doing, and it's very very easy for God to have like made this like those enchanted forests, where just like we're popping out the other side, except for those that are given like maybe the clearance to actually see the edge. This is what I believe. I believe that the Earth is finite, but there's this barrier that makes it for us. We perceive it as just looping infinitely. We don't even perceive the loop. We just like perceive another part of the world, and maybe God knows, but maybe if you're given like the access, then maybe you could actually reach the end of the earth or what have you. And I believe that maybe this is what happened with Enoch. Maybe this happened with Dhul Qarnayn in the Quran. Allahu A'lam. Only God knows. But it's very easy for it to be that. It's very easy to be we have a lot of optical illusions, a lot of different illusions that we experience. Relatively minor ones, a small scale. This would be just a large scale illusion.
Okay. Well, it's just a pretty dramatic thing though. Like if you had a huge like ship and then you went to where this boundary was, would half of the ship be all the way on the other side of the world and the other half would be
No, it'd be much more subtle than that, and it's not like an actual finite, portal or anything like that. It's imperceivable. It's just a very slow blend. You can't tell. So like the entirety of the ship would be, as well as all the water and all the sky and everything you see would slowly be. I don't know. Like I can't explain how it works. All I can say is that it is like the Earth doesn't have curvature, doesn't have measured curvature, and the only kind of like resolution or solution to all of the real world data points that we have is that there's wraparound. Like you have to either sacrifice the first premise that there's no curvature, or you just have to contradict some of these like real world observations.
I think Geo, you had a GIF like that you posted a while back, and it had like the daylight and the sunlight morphing into each other, kind of like the yin and yang, but sort of going on a left to right scenario. I imagine if that GIF, instead of it being the light that you're looking at, it's more the transition between the linking of the dimensions of the loop.
Are you talking about this one that shows like almost like the caustic, almost like a water bubble of day and night, that the night envelops the day, day envelops the night? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that one there. Yeah. I think that's how it works, but just imagine that it's not just the light doing that. This is actually just the loop of the dimensions for it to happen and still have two poles in a flat plane.
Yeah, percentage. Are you talking about a dual pole with the 2 star rotations and the 2 24-hour suns with a wraparound? Is that what you're referring to? Or are you referring to like an AE map with a wraparound? Because
it doesn't matter. Well, first off, I don't think it's the AE map, because I don't believe the equator is a curved line. I don't believe the sun's traveling in a curved path in the equinoxes.
Right.
So, but also I don't think that. I'm not sure about this actually. On the globe, on the solstices, when sun's at the tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, do they hold that the sun is traveling in a straight line, like it is on the equinox?
Wait, say that again. Which one?
On the globe, do they hold that the sun is traveling in an absolute straight line, like it is on the equinoxes, when it's on the solstices, when it's traveling on the tropic of Capricorn and Cancer?
Only on the equator. On the tropics, well, it's because it's on a ball that's tilted, they claim, and it's how the sun is aligning with the ecliptic and the equatorial plane.
Okay, so they don't hold that the sun is traveling straight on the tropics?
Well, they say you're on a
No.
ball in which the sun is only traveling because you're on a ball that's rotating, and then if you're on the equator, because the equatorial line, like it's called a great circle route, where you take any like loop around a sphere, kind of like the rings of Saturn. So if you put the great circle route at the equator, you're going straight in terms of not turning left and right. Like you're still going around a curvature, but whereas the tropics are called small circle routes on a globe. So like Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn is essentially a small circle route. And on that route, if you're on the Tropic of Cancer, let's say, and you're traveling and you stay on the Tropic of Cancer, you would have to turn your vessel. Like if you're traveling west, you'd have to turn your vessel to the right. That was that thing that Jaronism and Fight the Flat Earth had this whole back and forth on. And Fight the Flat Earth was saying you didn't have to turn, that it was straight. And Jaron was like, no, you do have to turn. And then Jaron did show him, and then Fight the Flat Earth conceded and was like, yeah, you're right. He didn't know that. You do have to actually turn your wheel. So technically, it's a circle, and you do have to turn because it's a small circle route. Whereas the equator, you would not have to turn your vessel on a globe. So yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing I'm curious about. Like if we could have, like, for instance, an equatorial mount that tracked the sun's movement, through one axis, like if we did it on the equator, I imagine that the sun could be in center frame of this telescope with an equatorial mount as it's going like through the sky. And if the same thing happens, and imagine like you had a few people along the equator that like stitched their, like, as soon as it was getting out of the field of view of one of the first telescope with the equatorial mount, and a second one pick it up, and you could just like ensure that it's going in a straight line, or like hypothetically, if you could dead reckon it and just follow the sun's, confirm that the sun is moving in a straight line. My point is, if you could do the same with the tropics, then that would show me that the map should have not just a straight equator, but also straight, tropics. And if it has straight tropics, then maybe all the latitude lines are straight.
No, but
maybe
it's
the
not.
Mercator kind of projection is more accurate. I'm not sure.
No, it doesn't do that though. It arcs. Like at the equinox on the equator, it rises like due east and sets due west. And if you put a stick in the ground, the shadow will be straight, like dead straight, like from the stick, on that day. But if you go to like the Tropic of Cancer during the northern solstice, during the summer in the north, Tropic of Cancer, you put a stick in the ground, it does not go straight. It makes a whole arc pattern. Yeah. So,
well, in that case, then I would say that the most accurate map would be like a dipole type map where you have the only straight line being the equator. Yeah, that would be like the map that we should probably be using, right? But it still would require a wraparound for connecting the ends. Like if you want to go make the separation at the Pacific, because we have freighters that are going trans-Pacific, doing that trip all the time, so daily even. So wraparound would still be required, but that would probably be the most accurate map because it's closest to what we observe in reality.
New perspective. He just typed in the chat, no wraparound needed. I don't think he thinks it is teleport Pac-Man wraparound with a 2-pole, but
if there's no wraparound, the Earth's a globe. Like that. It's as simple as that.
Why? It doesn't make there be curvature. I mean, you're saying it's required, what, because of the, like on the dual
if there's
pole?
no wraparound, we have two poles.
Flight?
How can you explain it otherwise? Yeah, like there has to be wraparound.
Well, there could be a barrier that you can't go beyond. A barrier.
What do you mean?
I'm saying if you took the whole like dual pole type layout and then you just put like another, like I'll post it again. If you took this, then you put another ice wall, let's say, or an ice rim all the way around this, and then there would just be a barrier. But the problem with that is a flight like from Australia, Sydney, going over to Hawaii, that's
exactly.
like, yeah, low. That's in like the, 4 or 5 o'clock position, exiting, going in from Sydney, Australia, and then entering over up at like the 10, 11 o'clock position of a clock kind of thing. So yeah, if that flight happens, then they would just hit a barrier and they wouldn't be able to do that. And then they would have to go around the other. So yeah, I mean, I hear you. If that path exists, I mean, you could still do it. You could go from Sydney and then go down around I think I even I drew lines on one of these. If I have them in my folder somewhere, but basically, like if you're, one that would actually go down around. Let's see if I can grab it real quick. Like this, basically. This is what the path would have to be if you didn't wrap around. Essentially, that's from New Zealand to like New York or whatever. But yeah, it's similar path. I mean, you could just say Sydney because you see where that end of that arrow is, just to the left of it. That's Hawaii out there, that little dot. So unless you're making that huge path, which is like way further than what it would be, whereas on a globe, it's just a straight shot. So
yeah. Not to mention like the freights that deliver like cargo from the West Coast to Japan and stuff like that. They go like right to the outside of that map, you know?
So you're
Like, there's a
actually
reason why
putting
you
that
have a lot
forth
of
as
Chinese people.
so you're
There's a
actually
reason
putting
why you
that
have a lot.
forth as
Go
a
ahead.
viable. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say there's a reason why there's a lot of Chinese people that are like, that are buying property and emigrating to West Coast and to like BC, British Columbia, Canada, and like in California and Washington State and all that. It's because it's so close, you know.
But you're actually putting that forth that a wraparound thing could actually be occurring.
I'm saying it has to be that it's either a globe or it's a flat Earth with wraparound. Like, and Jaren wasn't. He didn't have the faith to adopt wraparound. He didn't have like believe that God. He wasn't firm in his belief that God made a flat Earth, basically, and so he just went globe. But those are the two options.
But I have no idea why those would be the only two options. That's pretty well.
Do you have a third one that accounts for everything we're referring to? The single GP points of two massive rotation of stars, a straight line at the equator, the continents laid out to where you have North America, South America, Europe, Africa, the Asias, and Australia, where basically the northern points of everything I just named are pointing to one pole, and the southern points of everything I just named are pointing to a southern pole.
Okay, here's my question: If you just took away the sky completely, like nothing about the observation of the sky, none of the GPs, nothing, would there be some problem with the Earth, the map of the Earth, roughly as it's laid out right now, or does the problem only happen when it's in reference to the sky?
No, it doesn't have to do with anything to the sky. I mean, on an AE map, for example, the distances between South America and South Africa are dramatically longer. So you'd have to like verify that if it was an AE that the distances are greater. And then if you make it a dual pole where you do what I just said in those few that I posted there, something to that effect, then you end up with flights like Sydney to Hawaii, which would have to essentially Pac-Man or teleport if you can take that flight, unless you're going the long way around South America or the long way. So yeah, even if you throw the sky out, those are like flights and travel paths and positions that would all be relevant in terms of it being planar.
So which flight path? I mean, I'm not even contesting this. I'm just asking. So which flight paths would be impossible? Again, ignoring the sky.
Sydney to Hawaii.
Because of the speed at which the trip is like, or because of like the direction. I don't know. I'm not confused.
Are you asking like on a dual pole or on an AE or which one?
Not an AE map, just like not any specific map. Just like, okay, let's just say AE map. Something like the AE map. What specifically is incongruent?
By the way, I just went and grabbed. This is from Sydney to Hawaii. See how it's just like a straight line. So if you think of that flight,